Alrighty. Well, the next conference then is Ubisoft. And I was very excited about their Just Dance intro.
Yeah, but they
Um,
suffered some severe budget cuts. Only one furry this year.
they only had one furry, but he was a high quality furry. The last couple of years they've went for quantity over quality, and I think this year they flipped it and tried for quality furry. And you know what? It worked. I was smiling and I was laughing and I was like, dancing a little bit on the couch while I was watching it last night. It was good. It was good. I approve. I mean, I'll never play Just Dance because I don't play dance games, but it makes me happy every year to see them start the conference off with a Just Dance thing, and I'm always like, what are they going to do this year?
Yeah, but they had literally nothing about this game outside of the dance number. And this was another, granted, it actually makes a lot more sense for Just Dance, but another one of the pointless musical numbers. But to be fair, Ubisoft has always done this, so I'm not going to hold it against them.
Yeah.
Now, for Sony, on the other hand,
And Bethesda.
especially Bethesda.
But, yeah, so, I mean, there's nothing really to say about it. It's another Just Dance game, and their musical intro was fun, and I liked it. What I thought was one of the biggest, maybe the second biggest thing, well, I guess it would be third, was Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, how many times did they say Space Chili in the beginning of that?
Several times. It was,
Well, let's put it this way.
I noticed.
Well, Kyle actually started tweeting me a recipe for Space Chili. I'm not joking.
Nice. But yeah, it was a story trailer. Everything was all pre-rendered.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be.
I guess there was.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a lot earlier in the timeline than what it seems to be. Because
Yeah,
weren't they originally saying it was hundreds of years before the first or Good and Evil, or a good chunk of time, so Jade wouldn't be in it?
Yeah, originally they did say Jade wasn't going to be in it. Something I remember them saying something, or maybe it was a rumor that it was going to be set before Jade was even born. But no, Jade's in it. She was revealed in the trailer.
And it seems like she's evil.
Yeah, and it seems like she's evil. So that's... And this is supposed to be a prequel, too. And I don't remember anything from the first Beyond Good and Evil about Jade having, like, some kind of badass mercenary bad guy shtick. Because that's what I got from it.
Yeah.
Is that, she's some kind of bad guy.
I've never really played that much of Beyond the first Beyond Good and Evil. I played some of it, but it's in that area of gaming history where it's starting to get a little bit jank now.
Yeah. I haven't gone back and replayed it. I've got it because from, what was it, last year when Ubisoft did like a free game every month to celebrate their 30th anniversary or whatever. Like that was one of the free games, so I've got it on Uplay, but I haven't went back and played it. It's been a good decade since I've played Beyond Good and Evil. I mean, I remember it fondly, but it is old enough that it's in like that jank range. So I don't know if I'll ever actually go back and replay it. But it's supposed to be co-op, and it's
which is
ARPG.
interesting.
It looks like at least from gameplay perspective, like the little bit that they showed off, it seems fairly standard in that regard. Which I mean is fine because obviously the main draw is that it's a Beyond Good and Evil prequel thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how I feel though about how they were, like asking fans to contribute stuff.
Yeah.
To me, that felt very much like, yeah, we're super fucking behind on this game because of reasons.
Well, I was talking about
finishing it.
First you had crowdfunding of games. Now you have crowd art development. I actually tweeted that out. And here's the thing: is that they were saying it's not a contest; it's a contest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you have to do all your stuff beforehand and then send it in, and they only I know I say only on this $55,000 or sorry, a $50,000 funding pool to pay out people. So it's going to be a fucking pittance.
Yeah. And that's only if your stuff gets used.
Yeah.
So if you send in something that they don't use, then you don't get paid for your artwork. And they now own that artwork to use potentially in the future when this isn't going, and then you wouldn't get paid for it. I know. I'm
Well,
becoming as cynical as you
I
are.
didn't look at the rules to see if you give up the rights whenever you submit it, but yeah, that's kind of par for the course for these, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. I mean, it looked impressive graphically, but no idea what the fuck because I didn't play the first one or play enough of it.
Yeah.
And my other note on this is do not let the pig cook.
Yeah. I like how he's like about to just like start pouring rum into the chili, and then the ship gets rocked from the space fog. I don't know. I don't know what that was specifically, but yeah, I thought that was funny. I like the pig.
Rainbow Six
yeah,
Siege talking about their esports and a documentary on their esports and 35 million players.
yeah.
And they also,
Which I mean is good. They turned that game around.
yeah,
I'll give them
yeah,
that.
yeah,
They turned the game
they
around.
turned that one around big time. But we'll see if they do it for another game coming up. Charles Rising introduced by Super Dave.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. It's like,
Well,
who was this fat guy riding out on a dirt bike?
Well,
And it's like,
part of me-
that's the creative director.
part of me wanted to tweet Boogie. Boogie, are you in the Ubisoft conference? But that seemed mean. My first tweets were Evil Knievel, and then I said correction, Super Dave.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
It's it has
a
multiplayer race
focused
yeah.
trials game.
but multiplayer race mode, which instead of time trials, you actually see the other people, which actually adds a little bit to it, in my opinion.
That's actually been in the last couple of trials games.
well,
it's been a multiplayer mode.
I'm a bit behind on the trials games then.
But it seems like that's like the focus of this game is the multiplayer racing aspect. So, I mean, Trials is a popular little game, so I suspect that it will have a decent player base to race against. But, I mean, there's not a ton to say about it. It's a Trials game.
Yeah.
So, The Division 2, which I am getting a little bit excited for.
Yeah, set at least 7 months after the first game.
Yeah. Some of the Division stuff got cut from the Microsoft conference, and I don't remember exactly what was cut, but my thoughts about it, and this sort of solidified them after watching the larger or the extended trailer and some of the additional gameplay footage that they showed, because they had like a 30-minute demo that they showed after the conference, which was also up online. I mean, it looks like just more of the Division with more weapons, more customization,
essentially
more abilities.
Essentially, like Just Cause a refinement.
Yeah, a refinement of the original Division.
So, how many political jokes were you wanting to make during this? Because
a lot.
When they started saying overthrowing tyrants, I'm just thinking, oh, timing.
Yep.
Interesting thing on it is the 8-player raids.
Yeah, they don't have raids at all in the Division. So raids at all is nice, but 8 players is doubling the count, because typically in the first one you can only party up with a total of 4 players. So 8-player stuff will be interesting.
Yeah, and they're also talking about long-term free story content for the first year. With additional modes during it. 3 episodes during the first year, though. That is showing that they have some faith in this game. Particularly after The Division is another one of the games that they turned around, isn't it?
Yeah, they turned the Division around, and it seems like they're implementing the model that they swapped to with the Division. I mean, the Division was one of the early, air quotes, games as service games in the last few years that's popped up. And it worked for them that all the story content is free, and you have to buy the game, but then beyond that, just microtransactions. I don't know. I mean, I've gone back and forth on this in my head a lot, and my thing is like loot boxes. No loot boxes, but games with microtransactions, as much as I like grudgingly accept, like unfortunately that's where we're at. And I don't want to just like completely limit myself from playing games that I enjoy. And I really enjoyed The Division. I keep meaning to go back and play it. And play it with some of the people in our community who also play it. I need to get to level 30 and finish out the last couple of story missions. But I got super sidetracked doing side quests and going into the dark zone in the first one. So
something else is interesting is the secondary specs, where once you hit the max level, you essentially prestige into a specialization, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
To give it kind of reminds me, and I'm going to go old school with this, all right? The alternate advancement system out of EverQuest.
Yeah, well, the original Division basically allows you to change up your specialization at will once you unlock stuff.
Yeah, but this seemed like a permanent thing for that character.
Yeah, which is fine. I like that. I tend to only play one way anyways. Like, I explore with the base stuff and figure out what works for me, and then would spec into one thing. So, I'm looking forward to that, too.
And also, that girl has a hell of an arm on her.
Yes, she does.
That airplane flew forever. For those who didn't see it, the beginning of the trailer is this girl who makes a paper airplane, throws in, you see it fly around, and throughout all the scenes, and honestly a little bit of heavy-handed on the whole tyrant thing, but then again, it's shortcut for, hey, these are the bad people, they're executing people.
Yeah.
And then it eventually flies out of the city to the feet of the agents for the Division. And they open it up and it says help.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Division 2. It's one of my top games from E3, just because of how invested I am in the first one, and I like that style of game. So, and it looks like, it's E3.
Yeah.
They could be lying about many things, but it looks like they're not fucking this one up.
Yet.
Yeah. So then the next one, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, there was a distinct lack of Mario and Mario plus Rabbids, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Unless you count Rabbid Mario. I think he was there. It was Donkey Kong in the Rabbid version of all the Nintendo characters. Do you think the Rabbids just killed the Nintendo characters or are assuming their position at this point?
I think so. I like this partnership with Ubisoft that Nintendo has.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could play it, but it's a Switch-only title.
Yeah, this is one of the games that makes me want to get a Switch. That and Starlink, and there's a few other titles that have come out this past year that I want to get a Switch for. I'm pretty, this year, if there's a good bundle around, Christmas time, Black Friday, that sort of thing, there's a good chance I'll buy a Switch this year.
Honestly, outside of it
really
being Donkey Kong focused, it did, the brief glimpse of gameplay, it didn't look like they really showed anything new. There was an interesting musical number, though, which wasn't bad, at least.
Yeah.
Then,
it's just more Mario plus Rabbids. So next,
Skull and Bones, which pretty much instantly has more content than Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, I think they teased Skull and Bones last year.
Yeah, they did, but they showed
a more in-depth look.
They made it look more like it was a multiplayer focused like battle arena thing, but it looks more now that it's an open world, almost RPG.
Yeah, which I am.
Yeah, if they do that, sold.
Yeah, they showed.
They talked about shared world. During the mission, they saw player vessels off in the distance, and they invited them to the group to be able to help with the mission. And then there was a sudden but inevitable betrayal between the players because there's no honor among thieves. But it is very impressive looking. It's set in the Indian Ocean, which is it's sort of the lesser used section for piracy games because they're usually the Caribbean, 9 times out of 10, or a Caribbean setting, or a Caribbean-like setting, I should say.
Well, the Indian Ocean had less pirates because of the East India Trading Company. They didn't wipe them out. I guess they eventually wiped them out, but they brought pirates under their heel.
Yeah, but this could also be an alternate universe as well. So
it could be. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, it looks good what they showed off. So
yeah, lots of destruction in this. Some of the ships have special abilities, which Boogie was actually tweeting out. The ships have special abilities, so it instantly has more features than Skull, or more than Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves is
And meaningful customization.
yeah.
It actually has meaningful customization.
Yeah, individual weapons that have different specializations and strengths and weaknesses. Boarding ships actually has a purpose.
Yeah.
A little bit of a concern was that legendary loot that they picked up. Because part of me was worried that's loot box.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything else, I hope not. But I could easily see it be a loot box.
Yeah. And there's the potential there, but fingers crossed, everyone seems to be shying away from it.
Especially EA.
Yeah. So next was Transference.
VR only title.
VR psychological horror puzzle game.
I mean, it looked interesting, but VR, so yeah, that's pretty much me out immediately.
Yeah. I didn't realize Elijah Wood was the creative director on this game. But he is, which I find fascinating. Because, I mean, Elijah Wood has a long film career, but really the only thing that most people think of him as is Frodo from Lord of the Rings, because that was his most high-profile
Well, what about
project.
CD Kid from Back to the Future 2?
Is that really Elijah Wood?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool. But I didn't realize until this that he was the creative director for the game, so that's interesting. And
Yeah,
I
but
like
they
the
did,
idea of it.
yeah, they really didn't
VR
say
only.
much about this, at least that I took away from it.
Yeah, it was just an extended tease, I guess. But
So-
it's got a fall, or they said fall 2018.
Yeah, I think
so I suppose
I
we'll know
didn't
more
write
about
down
it later
the
this year.
release date, so yeah. So next up is No Man's Skylanders.
Yeah, and by that you mean Starlink Battle for Atlas,
Yeah,
which I'm very excited about.
They've totally got you hook, line, and sinker on this time.
I love my toy spaceships, and I like the Toys to Life concept.
It's usually done so exploitively,
Yeah, and I suspect that this will be the same way.
which is
If
why
there's
I'm
any
kind
version-
of writing it off immediately. Is that there's no reason for them not to exploit it, especially if they're
Yeah.
aiming it at kids.
If there's any version that I want, though, I want to get the Switch version because it's got Star Fox in it. So it'll be the best Star Fox game since Star Fox 64. Maybe.
False. Star Fox 2.
I said since. Oh, well, I guess that released
Yeah, that
afterwards in that weird whatever. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, we don't have to talk too much about it. I mean, it's a Toys to Life game with spaceships.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say on to For Honor because I had a funny thing for it.
Okay, what's your funny thing?
Okay, For Honor, they had this big trailer for the new faction that's coming out. And the trailer made me feel very nostalgic for the beta for Honor. Because everything froze and then just jumped forward.
Nice. It's free
For the next
this
week, yeah.
on
For the starter
Uplay.
edition. That's the important thing. So,
Yeah.
grind away like a barista.
Yep.
Something interesting, though, is that they're putting out Castle Siege 4v4 mode, which is supposed to be different from their other 4v4 mode? Or is it a 3v3?
No, their other mode is 4v4.
So I'm not sure what they're doing with this that's exactly different. They didn't really seem to highlight it all that much for the
Yeah.
expansion that's coming out in October. But the big thing is a new faction, which I didn't catch what they called the faction.
I don't know, actually. I didn't catch that either.
Oh, good. It wasn't just me. But 4 new fighters and a load of cosmetic stuff. And I made the joke that, wow, they have the entire player base here based on the applause. Because For Honor it hasn't really taken off. So maybe giving away the starter edition is a good idea to try to boost the player base. Every time they've tried to do something, though, it's backfired on them. The big one I can remember is they did this big esports tournament. And everybody was using the same exploit
Yeah. To win.
Yeah, and by the end of it, the presenter just looked annoyed because it was the same character doing the same move. And it
Yep.
didn't show off the fighting styles at all.
Yep. So next at the conference was the Crew 2,
No
which
new
was just a
info, yeah.
trailer.
Beta,
but yeah.
open beta at the end of the month. I missed out on playing the closed beta because, I was busy. But I mean, it looks interesting. But it really depends on the physics because the original Crew, I had fun with it, but it did some wacky shit between desync and how arcadey it was. There was several times where I would be driving along and then suddenly my car would start flipping end over end because physics.
Yeah. I didn't like the Crew 2 or the Crew very much because of how arcadey it was. Even with everything set to full sim, it's like, this is an arcade racer, which I know that's what it was, but they were presenting it like you can have it your way. Also, I had some weird performance issues with the Crew, but when I played it was before I had made major updates to my system. So since the last time I played it, I got my new graphics card and a new CPU.
Yeah,
so.
in the cities, I always had low FPS, but once I got out of the cities, it wasn't nearly as bad. Maybe I should try it, see if the graphics card made a difference.
Yeah. And then the last thing where they spent a good deal of time on the conference, like the longest amount of time given to a single thing, was Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
You mean this is Assassin's Creed?
Yes. I mean, it's Assassin's Creed. I've really fallen off of the franchise.
Assassin's Creed and Greek times. Have they completely dropped the modern setting altogether after the last couple?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think that they're it's a background thing, as just still part of the world's continuity. But as far as I know, they've dropped it from the main gameplay. But yeah, it's it's an Assassin's Creed game set in Greece. You have the opportunity to play as either a male or female protagonist.
Oh, it's amazing that they are able to overcome that technical hurdle.
I know. They figured out how to animate female models, apparently.
Well, she did have a lot of hip sway.
That she did.
But yeah,
during the Peloponnesian War, which is...
Well, sorry, I was going to say, while we brought up the female, I do wonder if it's going to be a meaningful choice because I would imagine it would make quite the difference between a male and female warrior back then. But that probably is asking a little much.
Actually,
I'm not sure.
Ancient Greece, Sparta specifically, they didn't give a shit. Like, if you were a warrior, you were a warrior, and they didn't care if you were male or female.
All right, well, I wasn't 100% certain if it was set in Sparta or... I just knew it was Greece, but I didn't want to assume. So, okay, so pretty much they could... it's just a cosmetic choice then, most likely.
Yeah, well, in the last Assassin's Creed game, you could be a female protagonist, but it swapped back and forth between the two of them. And in this one, like, they made a point to say, like, whoever you pick at the start of the game is who you're going to be for the whole game.
So
I guess that matters.
Wisely.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some little differences based on what you do, but otherwise I suspect that it's, going to be the same basic story. Some other changes to it. You actually have dialogue options now. They said it was, pretty simple stuff, but that's completely new to the Assassin's Creed franchise.
I know it's not new, but I did chuckle at the wanted stars or helmets. I know it's not new, but I'm just sitting there watching it and thinking, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
I was waiting for him to pull out the cell phone to do the clear one stars cheat.
That would have been hilarious. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it.
It's supposed to be some sort of revenge story, perhaps. With the Spear of Leonidas unlocking a bunch of abilities because reasons, but not a lot really said. I mean, it was impressive looking, but it's Assassin's Creed, so this may be just the unbuggy portions of it, right?
Yeah.
But it releases on October 5th, so.
Yep, this year they're back on the yearly cycle for Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, because that didn't completely backfire at them at all.
Yeah.
They just can't help themselves.
I wish they'd take at least 1 year off between their main games, but
maybe even have a sequence, Assassin's Creed, then do something else major.
Alternate between Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. Basically the same game. I will say I'm more interested in this setting than most of the other, actually all of the other Assassin's Creed settings, but I don't think that's going to be enough to bring me back into the game or back into the franchise. So who knows? We'll see how it goes. I mean, I hope it goes well, but I'm not expecting too much. So how'd you feel about the conference? Letter grade?
I would give it a low B, honestly. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. The dance number was an A+, but the conference as a whole, I was thinking like a B- too. They had some interesting stuff, some things that I'm
they didn't have a lot of
downtime,
downtime,
know more about. Yeah, they didn't waste our time. Their musical number was excellent. So,
well, numbers.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly just thinking about the beginning.
Well, they did have the one with Donkey Kong as well.
Yeah. That one wasn't bad. That was okay.
Yeah, part of me was thinking it was some sort of Donkey Konga for, at the very beginning.
Yeah, they synced it up with the gameplay, which helped.
Maybe they should give some pointers to Sony.
Maybe they should.
Or have it relevant to the gameplay, so they should give some pointers to Bethesda.